jam, roast buds, pumpkin.
Apple pie and cream?
Yeah, candles, serviettes. Oh, Siv would have loved that.
Yeah, but I bet you're used to dirty kitchens, eh? What with cooking for the shearers and everything.
Don't you believe it? I never cooked in a shearing shed kitchen that wasn't spotless.
Yeah?
They were tough men, but they liked their comfort. Nothing but the best. And I took care of that.
You did, huh?
Food I'm talking about.
Doreen.
Yep.
You need it outside.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Fletcher, I can't cook lunch in this filth and muck. We'll have to have sandwiches for tomorrow's lunch.
All right, fair enough, but at least clean it up so we can make a cup of tea and we've got somewhere to sit down.
Are you going outside?
Yes, Mouse, but I will be back.
Oh, come on, love. Give us a hand to clean all this up.
Look,
What is it?
fish and chips.
Oh, yesterday's, I'd say. Didn't leave much, did they?
Must have been some old Darrow in here.
Darrows are people like everybody else. Just because they don't own a home of their own.
Oh, I didn't mean anything bad. Bit scary, isn't it?
Yeah. It is a bit funny, isn't it?
If Paige takes one step out of here without permission, I want to know about it. Understood?
Right.
Oh, please, Mrs. Powell, can I see the governor?
I'll look into it. In the meantime, you have got work to do here, unless you'd rather scrub toilets.
Mrs. Powell, I've just come from a hospital, and I don't want to interfere.
Then please don't. It is against regulations for prisoners to leave their work without permission.
Perhaps she was looking for help of some kind. Or is that against regulations as well?
Mrs. Morris, if you were still an officer here, it would be your business. But as you're not, just leave the discipline to us.
Alison, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. The hospital phoned before.
Oh, I knew something was wrong. That's why I left here, to find Mrs. Davidson.
Don's hurt his back again. It's serious, I'm afraid.
Oh, my God.
He'll be out of action for some months, perhaps even a year. His recovery will depend to some extent on how well he takes care of himself.
I've caused him a terrible time. What about the children?
Don't worry. We'll find someone to look after.
No, but surely those parole people can see now that my family need me.
Alison, you will be out of here before the parole board could even look at your case.
Couldn't the governor do something?
I know the system. The best thing that you can do for your family is to keep your record clean for the next 2 weeks. All right?
Yes.
I'll come back later and see how you're doing.
It's my children. What's going to happen to my children?
Oh, hello, Meg. Sit down.
Oh, I'd love to, but I just haven't time. I've come to tell you the Pages are in more trouble. Don seriously hurt his back this time and could be laid up for months.
Oh, they are having a hard run.
And I suggest you keep a close eye on Alison. I think she's just had about as much as she can take.
Well, thanks for the warning. You rushing off again?
Yes, I'm just going to have a quick bite of lunch and then I'm going to see Gordon Humphrey.
Oh, about Lizzie in the house.
Yes, I have a proposal to put to him. Well, it came from B. Smith, as a matter of fact.
Well, when she's not causing us trouble, she does have some good ideas. What's the plan?
Look, can I tell you about it later? I really must rush.
Righto. Bye.
You just don't get the message, do you, Paige? Well, I better teach you a lesson you won't forget. Do you know what it means to be up on a charge? It means you lose all of your privileges. And on top of that, you may have extra time to spend in here.
No!
You're going to be sorry you did that for a long time to come. Striking
I didn't.
a prison officer. Well, then you can expect to spend an extra 2 or 3 months in here. In the meantime, why didn't you think about it? In solitary.
No, please.
Get out. You know how serious it is to strike a prison officer?
Terribly sorry,
You
Mrs.
will
Powell.
be. I can promise you that.
It happened before I could stop myself.
Well, this is where you learn to stop yourself.
Oh, no, I won't do it. Oh,
Listen,
please.
Paige. Sooner or later, you're going to do what you're told.
No, no, no. Oh, please.
Yeah, come on with that. How are things going out here?
We have a problem.
What?
It lives next door. We are being looked at.
Hey?
Oh, Mrs. Her next door. She's been giving us the once-over.
Yeah, she's a real sticky beak.
Probably thinks she's got lunatics. Or Crim's moving in next door.
Well, you know what to do with nosy Parkers.
No, what?
Give them a taste of their own medicine.
Hey.
You ready? 1, 2, 3.
You old bag. Oh, stirring up the neighbours. Mrs. Davidson will never approve.
Yeah, well, it's not her that's being gawked at, is it?
Well, Mrs. Davidson, she's done it again.
Who has done what?
Alison Page has left the office and wandered off without permission.
Oh, is that all?
No, it certainly isn't. When I found her in a cell and asked her what she was doing there, she became violent and she struck me. She's now in solitary, and I want her charged with attacking a prison officer.
Well, I would have to have some more details before deciding what to do. You do realise that Alison has a very difficult home situation. Her husband has seriously injured his back, and there is no one to care for the children. There is no money coming in, and she's trying very hard to get over a recent suicide attempt.
She's having a hard time, so it's okay to
That
hit
is
me.
not what I meant at all. I would never condone violence towards any of my officers, but in this case, the violence is completely out of character. I would rather reprimand than charge her.
When the other prisoners see that they can
Mrs.
hit...
Powell, I know how you feel, but a whole family will suffer if that woman does not get out when she is due. Very well. Get her out of solitary and bring her straight here.
Yes. Oh, all right.
Mr. Humphrey?
Yes, Mrs. Morris. I'm very busy at the moment.
Yes, I am too. But I have a suggestion I think you ought to hear.
Well, if Mrs. Burgess is prepared to settle, I'll listen. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
Lizzie has plenty of money to fight the case.
I think I can match it.
And time's no problem. I mean, if it drags on through the courts for years, it's not going to worry her. Now, you're a businessman, Mr. Humphrey. You wouldn't want your investment tied up like that.
All right, what's your suggestion?
Oh, before I forget, I have a letter here from B. Smith. As a matter of fact, the whole idea was hers. What do you say if you have the house as an investment, and in return, Lizzie has the use of it as a non-paying tenant for as long as she lives? Now, she's very fond of that house, proud of it. She'll take good care of it. And when she dies, it goes to you. Well, I think that's a fair arrangement, don't you?
Yes. I'll have to speak to my solicitor.
Of course. I think you'll find you can't lose this way.
It'll have to be in writing.
Yes. Well, Lizzie would want that. Otherwise, it could drag on through the courts for years and years, and you could get nothing. Well, what do you think?
We'll stand to attention in front of the governor.
Relax, Paige. Mrs. Powell reported that you struck her whilst she was reprimanding you for being away from your job. I would like to hear your side of the story.
I was out of the office, it's true. When Mrs. Morris told me about Don's back, I started to cry. I couldn't help it. I thought it would look bad, crying in reception, so I went to my cell. But I was going to go back again when I calmed down.
Go on.
Mrs. Powell found me in there, and she started.
Say what happened.
She yelled at me. She said I'd be charged and I'd have to spend more time in jail.
And?
Well, I got so upset I hit her. I didn't mean to. I'm really terribly sorry. It's the first time I've hit anyone ever.
All right. Report back to reception.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Davidson.
And next time, get permission before you leave.
Yes, I will.